Most people, when asked, what are your favorite type of characters in a story, usually give the same kind of answers. What qualities, traits, or characteristics do you naturally gravitate towards? I asked a few friends this question, and their answers were roughly the same. What's up?
Not much. How about you?
I'm doing good. Uh, Not much has really changed. About the same as usual. I guess I'm just going around and asking a few friends, um, what are your favorite type of characters in a story? What qualities, traits, or characteristics do you usually look for when it comes to a character?
For me, I love broken hero or just someone who basically their whole purpose is a redemption arc. Either that or someone who pushes past everything to achieve their goals.
Personally, for me, I really like underdogs and characters that are redeemed or, do redeemable actions. But for me, it's definitely underdogs. I've always felt like I relate to them or, I just love a good underdog story.
I think I like a character who is determined to get to his goal. Like my lord and savior Lelouch from Code Geass. I think I like characters that believe in themselves and they try their best to reach their goal.
Zuko is one of my favorite characters. Like his growth, personally, I think is the best I've ever seen. Going from the antagonist and then just so much inner reflection as well from his uncle. And then at the very end, joining up with the protagonist to defeat his father, which actually was the main antagonist this whole time, but just in the background. That for me was peak cinema.
I really love Luffy, he's my goat. I also really love Zoro and all the Straw Hats. I love Sanji too. I also really like Kim Dokja from Omniscient Readers and also Gongja from SSS Class.
Yaguchi or Yatura Yaguchi, he's from Blue Period. It's after watching and reading Blue Period, I think that's when my art skyrocketed. Because I think what was really inspiring for me is that he did have like some rivals, but his biggest rival at the end was himself. How he could push himself forward.
The traits and everything I like is honestly the most basic answer ever, and it's obviously heroic deeds or acts. I like to always picture or imagine myself as a hero or somebody that can save someone. And to me, if a character does that, I automatically love them. Or, if they do the right thing. That's literally all that I enjoy, or that's all it takes for me to like a character.
Going back to the characters I mentioned, I think a trait all of them kind of share is kindness. Luffy is really kind, Sanji is really kind. I think it's one of the simplest traits a character can have, but if done well, it can really move me in a way that is really meaningful. I think that's my answer.
Just seeing someone work hard, not for others, but for themselves, and despite what people might think, just proving their expectations wrong. I feel like today, people often want to do everything, but also disregard people's dreams a lot. So I feel like just doing what you want because there's not a lot of time left on this earth and just pursuing it, reaching those goals, even if you don't, just getting back up and just keep going. That for me really inspires me.
Some people are drawn to the strongest characters, the ones chosen by fate, the ones destined to become something great. Others gravitate towards perfection, characters who seem untouchable, polished, and almost flawless. Or maybe you're just someone who enjoys a comedic character, someone who's there to erase the tension or seriousness in a scene. But if you were to ask me,
So, what are your favorite characters?
In Japan, there's this saying, or I guess concept, that is called Wabi-sabi. That is basically an aesthetic that finds beauty in imperfections and incompleteness. At its simplest form, it emphasizes that things don't have to be flawless to be beautiful. In fact, it's the flaws that give something character. The word itself combines two ideas: wabi, which refers to simplicity, humility, and a quiet kind of beauty found in modest living, while sabi speaks to the beauty that comes with age and time. It is the elegance of something that has endured, something that carries visible marks of its history. Together, these ideas form a worldview that accepts three truths: nothing lasts forever, nothing is finished, and nothing is ever perfect. Wabi-sabi can be seen in everyday life. It lives in a withered wooden table covered in scratches, in a faded photograph tucked into a photo book, in the wrinkles of a face shaped by years of laughter and sorrow. You can see it in the old silverware or in a chipped cup used daily for decades. In the unfinished painting where brushstrokes are frozen to time, or even the autumn leaves moments before they fall, embodies this quiet acceptance of change and the beginning of a new season. But to not get too wrapped...
Yeah, that's cool and all, but what does this have to do with the characters you like?
Right. Your original question. Okay, I can answer that. The type of characters I enjoy are those who are rough around the edges. Characters who aren't perfect or immortal, but the ones who are constantly trying their best, despite their situation. The type of characters you can see yourself in. Someone relatable, someone who carries the same insecurities, the same doubts, the same quiet hopes you hold on to in your own life. Of course, this is different for everyone. We don't all share the same values, but for me, this means someone striving for greatness, not because you're destined for it, but because you chose to pursue it. Someone who, even after failing, refuses to stay down. Someone with a strong spirit, someone who keeps moving forward even when progress is slow, even when the growth is invisible. And someone who carries their flaws in their chest, who struggles, doubts, and makes mistakes, but never lets that define them. If you look at comics, I'm talking about characters like Spider-Man, Wolverine, Batman. Then there's gaming characters like Arthur Morgan, Joel, or even Kratos. Then there's anime and manga, characters like Subaru from Re:Zero or Namiya from Real, all embody these traits. Across mediums and genres, no matter the world, it's all the same. And when I really sit down and think about why or what it is that draws me to flawless characters, at the end of the day, it really comes down to four major things. 1. Humanity. Characters who feel real and relatable. 2. Growth over greatness. Characters who grow and change instead of being perfect from the start. 3. Earned progress. Watching them struggle and fail, but slowly get better just hits different, making the reward at the end that much better. 4. Possibility. Maybe another word would be a better description. Let me just delete that. Okay, let's resilient. Yeah, that's a better word. Let's go with that. The drive to keep pushing forward and refusing to give up. These four things are what I look for, but me and you both know we can expand more upon them. The type of characters I tend to gravitate towards needs to have a level of humanity to them. It's a quality that makes a character feel less like a robot and more like a person. Like all of us, they hesitate, they doubt themselves, and they sometimes make emotional decisions. Think about some of your favorite characters. Peter Parker, a person who isn't defined by his wins, or by the constant imbalances he lives with. Whether that be struggling to pay rent on time, balancing a normal job and being Spider-Man, or just disappointing the people he loves. But no matter the situation, he's always giving it his all, and being there for the people he loves. Shinji from Evangelion is someone who, despite not wanting to pilot an Eva, and despite not wanting to be a hero per se, his acceptance, his fear, and avoidance makes him frustrating. But it's in his choices, you can't help but sympathize and understand that he's just a kid. Humanity is a quality that allows a character to exist beyond their function in a story. It's what separates a person from a symbol. Perfect characters often feel like they were designed to represent something. Justice, hope, strength. But human characters feel like they exist independently of what the story needs from them. There's a moment when a person breaks, not physically, but internally. When they admit they are afraid.
I'm afraid.
When they admit they don't know what to do. It's about recognizing that while strength has its limits and effort doesn't always lead to redemption, there are some things that simply can't be fixed, no matter how much we wish they could be. Sometimes, despite our best effort, answers remains elusive, and we can't save everyone. This is what sets characters apart from perfectionists. It's that sense of incompleteness that reminds us that we're human. Real people are never truly finished. They're molded constantly by their experiences, by their losses, and by the choices they make to keep pushing forward. I'm someone who enjoys watching a character encounter something new and slowly change because of it. Someone who is actively working towards becoming better than who they were before. Wanting to be great or feeling that internal pull towards greatness isn't a bad thing. If anything, it's something I'm guilty of myself. I've always believed that if you're going to do something or dedicate your time and energy to anything, you should strive to be the very best. Naturally, that belief begins to reflect in the type of characters I gravitate towards. You start to notice that it's not the characters who are already great that stay with you. It's the ones who are trying to become great. The ones who are still in the process, still learning, still failing, still reaching for something just beyond where they are. Growth over greatness is the idea that a character's value is not defined by where they stand, but by the distance they travel. It's the type of characters that begin somewhere incomplete. Their story is not about proving they were always worthy, but about confronting the parts of themselves that were not. Any of the characters from Vagabond, or someone like Thorfinn, the characters like Mark from Invincible, Rocky, Jake Sully, Evelyn Wong, who early on in the film, Everything Everywhere All at Once, greatest movie of all time, is introduced as someone who isn't special. She's exhausted, scattered, and disappointed in herself. Her life feels like a series of wrong turns, a failing marriage, a strained relationship with her daughter, and the constant sense that she could have been more. Her growth happens gradually, and it's a story that's ultimately about accepting the version of herself she thought was a failure. Growth over greatness isn't about proving you were special all along. It's about becoming someone different through the weight of your experiences. Once that awareness clicks, there's no going back. That's the kind of growth that matters. Not the moment a character becomes impressive, but the moment they become something new. This one is pretty simple and is self-explanatory in its name. Earned progress, meaning that whatever a character eventually achieves feels deserved because of the work they put in. I've never really been the type to enjoy characters who are naturally gifted, or the ones who succeed simply because they were born special. What always resonated with me more are the characters who have to fight for every inch of progress. The reason for this is simple. It's just real. There's something deeply satisfying about watching someone grow. Characters like Guts, Belle, Rock Lee, Asta are characters I look at when I think of earned progress and having to work extra harder than their counterparts. These type of characters exist in a world where they're outmatched, overlooked, or disadvantaged, and yet they continue to push forward anyway. Every improvement they make comes through pain, discipline, and persistence. And when a character earns their strength, earns their confidence, earns their place, it doesn't just feel impressive. It's something that we all can collectively look at and say, yeah, that was earned. Resilience can be defined as the capacity to withstand or to recover quickly from difficulties. In other words, toughness. Resilience isn't just about how much someone can take. It's really about what they do after facing challenges that change them. Tough times always leaves a mark. They can strip away innocence and that earlier versions of ourselves that didn't realize how heavy life could get. Resilient characters don't go back to who they were. They move forward as more aware individuals, perhaps a bit more fragile in some ways. And that's what gives it depth. They aren't moving ahead because they have no fear. They're moving forward with a clear understanding of what it costs them. It's about choosing to try again, even if you don't believe in yourself like you used to. It's about carrying doubts, but still pushing through. Some of my favorite characters who embodies this are characters like Zuko, who goes from being banished to slowly discovering himself and having one of the greatest redemption arcs. Arthur Morgan, who spent most of his life following someone he believed in, only to realize too late that he has to question everything he's done and decide for himself what kind of person he wants to be. Simon, a character crushed by loss and self-doubt, forced to grow into someone he never really believed he could be. Rock from Black Lagoon, who loses the safety of his old life and has to learn how to exist in a world that slowly changes him. Or even Daredevil, who gets beaten down again and again, but never fully lets the world convince him to stop. They're not defined by their wins. What really matters is that they keep pushing forward. It's not that they were the strongest or the chosen few. It's their ability to endure that sets them apart. At some point, they had to face the truth about themselves. They recognized their limits, their failures, and the moments when life didn't go as planned. But they didn't emerge from that experience unchanged. Instead, they came out of it more aware and more human. That's the essence of Wabi-sabi. The idea that there is nothing perfect, nothing permanent, and nothing complete. I look for humanity, characters who feel real, who doubt themselves, who hesitate, who don't always say the right things or make the right choices. I look for growth over greatness, characters who aren't defined by how impressive they become, but by how much they change. Who they were at the end matters more than what they achieve. I look for progress that's earned, change that comes slowly, painfully, not given to them, but built piece by piece through failure, reflection, and choice. And above all, I look for resilience, the ones who continues forward after they've been broken, the ones who understand what it costs to keep going and chooses to anyway. Because these characters remind us that there's something honest in being unfinished, that there's beauty in change, that perfection was never the point. What matters is that if you endured, if you grew, and that you remain a perfect imperfection. So first and foremost, thanks for watching this video. I want to take this chance to shout out to the lads for helping me with this one. All of their links would be in the description, so go check them out. They post some pretty amazing content. With that being said, I'll catch you guys in the next video.
Oh, you can shoot further.